We're on our way to work. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing fantastic and that you're having a wonderful morning so far. I am. Just came out of my time with the Lord, and that's something I like to do every morning before work and pray, because it's just shaped my life to be a much happier spiritual experience that I feel like continues to grow me and positively impacts the world around me. I think that's the real point, is to figure out how you can be more like Christ and then bring that joy and that love and that peace to the people in your circle or the people's lives that you touch, right? So that's what I always pray. I do that here as well. I pray that everyone who needs to see these videos, who will benefit from them, does see them. But today I have something else to talk about. I'm a health coach as well as a nurse working in the ICU, and I recognize that throughout my career, this revelation kind of started 7 years ago, but I feel that working as a nurse in the modern medical system in the United States and working as like a health coach, I feel like those two worlds, they conflict with each other a lot. Let me explain. In Western medicine, where I got my first career, being an RN, going through all this training of the human body, and basically the whole idea, the history behind nursing is very, very sweet. If you've ever looked into it or you are a nurse yourself, the very first module or like section in nursing school is all about like the ethics and the compassion and how we are to be to our patients and what kind of person we are to be to them. And that is like so far gone, I feel like, in the way that they do nursing these days. Like, we are expected to be that compassionate, caring, I'd say like oasis for a patient, like emotional oasis, like be very much of a support system to them. I think that we love that. As nurses, we love that. Most of us came into the field because we care about people in that way, that we want to do that every single day and be there to hold their hand when they're going through the worst time of their life. But unfortunately, the way that they have the medical system set up right now, we don't have time to sit down and take their hand and have a conversation with them and ask them, how are you doing? Like, what is going on? I will say, back in 2019, I was working a Kaiser job as a travel nurse. And this is actually really interesting because my other experiences with, I don't know, it's kind of like a bittersweet memory, because they instituted these morning routines for the nursing staff that we would do a certain number of things on a checklist to help ensure that the patient had, you know, all their questions answered, felt heard and understood. And one of those moments was actually to sit down in a chair in the patient room and have like a face-to-face conversation with them. Just talk to them, and that's called therapeutic communication. In module 1 of nursing school, we get tested out on therapeutic communication and our ability to engage in a conversation that would be compassionate, helpful to the patient, and help them feel supported and heard. And I think that we should not go without that. There are if you work in any sort of nursing job, you know that you have to fight for those moments. And I think that there are times when you feel convicted to be able to do that, but my main concern is I don't feel like it's being prioritized, because the priority is more about the quick turnovers and the doing things quickly. And I think in the ICU that makes sense. The priority needs to be stated right here, because the ICU, you have to save their life, you have to stabilize whatever they need before we sit down and have a nice conversation. So this is me talking from my years of being a med-surg nurse, when things usually weren't as emergent as they are now when I walk into work. But I definitely feel for the people that work med-surg, because it's a real grind. It's honestly such a hard grind, you guys. So if any of your loved ones work in that department, CNAs, nurses, even hospitalists take med-surg departments, like so many patients at once. And sometimes those patients stay there for like months because there's no placement for them. It's difficult. It's very difficult. You definitely need to come into work with a headspace of steel. So anyway, I think there are so many good things about our medical system, but so many ways that it doesn't do us well. Like, there's so many long wait times. Recently I had a loved one that they needed a specialist, and you pay so much for insurance when you get into like a position where you can have a job that offers it. You choose the insurance that's going to allow you to get all the care that you need, and then you still have to wait 6 months to see specialists. I'm really starting to see what all the people are complaining about. I'm a relatively healthy person. I don't need to go to a specialist myself. But I remember not having to wait that long 5 years ago, 6-7 years ago in another state. It's very strange. California is so strange to me. It's like the healthcare is available to everybody, but it's also like very frustrating to do anything in healthcare. Very frustrating from most experiences I've had. So there's that. There's the feeling rushed. There's the lack of therapeutic communication. And then, of course, just what this became evident to me as I became a health coach, and as I found that Western medicine wasn't addressing something in my health. Many years ago, if you're new here, I had a really bad issue with my gut health. I prayed after I went to about 5 specialists, an allergist, rheumatologist, endocrinologist. And nobody had any answers. Nobody could find anything on my blood tests. But my face, if you saw my passport picture, I was showing that to my husband recently. My passport picture, he said, "Babe, this is such a bad picture of you." And we laughed together because I said, "I know." I said, "This was the picture I used to show as like a before and after when I used to post a lot on Instagram." But I had rashes up and down my entire face. I was puffy, swollen. It was like the furthest from normal, yet all the tests were showing normal. So we need to get better testing, or we need to go down a holistic path, which is what I did, to discover, what is it that we're missing? What is it that Western medicine is not picking up on, not acknowledging, and not actually encouraging me to go to an alternative medicine provider? So I'm really grateful that I ended up there, because when I did, I was able to heal. I leaned into gut healing. I healed. My digestive health was a wreck. So here is the conflict. There are some things that Western medicine won't be able to fix for you, but they also won't tell you that this is where it stops. Go to a holistic provider, go find alternative ways. They won't tell you that. They will give you medication, they will give you psych treatment until you figure it out yourself. So this is where I tell my clients, let's pray about it, let's get God's guidance. And then let's get your gut healed, let's get your nutrients the way they need to be, eating enough, eating the right amount. It's honestly very frustrating. It made it easier for my mind to reconcile this disparity when I transferred departments because there's still a need. I'm so grateful that we have hospitals, that we have the ability to treat, that medicine has advanced as much as it has, because the day that my loved one or myself needs something, it's going to be there. I pray. But then there's these other things that maybe aren't so urgent, that we also need to consider as important and really take them with such seriousness. And I don't know why there's such a fight, such a debate going on. I only assume that it has to do with money and the ability to make money. Because if so many people recognize that this isn't helping anymore, then they don't get the business, they don't get the insurance payout. And then where does your money come from? Where does your profit come from? So it's very sad because the well-being of people, money is being a priority. It's being placed as priority over the people's best health. So it's up to us to figure that out and to treat ourselves with the respect that we deserve and recognize when that moment hits. I saw a post this week from a doctor that talked about, he said the moment that everything changed for me as a provider and he saw the world of Western medicine with completely different eyes. He had a patient, I think this is Dr. Jaro, by the way, I think I saw this on Instagram. He said he had a patient that had fatty liver disease. They were placed on the transplant list, and what that means is there's so many fatty deposits in your liver from either like your diet or sometimes from alcoholism. There's a lot of things that can contribute to this. But ultimately, the liver is stressed to a point where it can't function and filter out the toxins and things that we need to eliminate. And it's just not allowing our body to function in the way that it needs to. So you end up with a lot of problems, and toxins build up in your bloodstream and your body. So he told the patient, go home fast, don't eat sugar, exercise, and within 3 months, this person, I guess he also told them don't eat carbohydrates. In 3 months, this person had reversed their fatty liver disease and they no longer needed a transplant, which is absolutely insane, because I think what he was trying to say is that moment shook him because that was free. And it shakes me too because it's a very powerful example. I used to work in a unit where we did transplant livers. That is a really big deal. They come to the ICU for probably a minimum of 3 to 7 days. And then after that, you have an organ that you need to always take medication for, so your body doesn't reject it because it's not your own. So it's a big deal, but many people are so grateful for their transplant because of the fact that it gives them a second chance at life, which is a beautiful thing. However, wouldn't you rather go through a way that's free, that doesn't make you need to get a new organ, doesn't make you need to get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of medical treatment? If you could solve that for free, wow. To me, it makes a lot of sense why his whole world changed. It's like, this is a free treatment, this is non-invasive, and it took less than 3 months. So he knew that he had to kind of get on that side of things and start more of like a holistic, functional approach to the human body, because there are many times where that is enough. Give it the right food, give it the right environment. Stop giving it the things that are going to make it sick. I think another problem here is that many people are unwilling to get uncomfortable to heal themselves. I've seen this. There are people who would rather stay in their diseased state. They would rather make their health somebody else's responsibility and not take that on themselves to fix, which is not something that I can understand at all. And I have to really check myself because it makes me really angry. I don't understand that perspective and why people put that on others when it's their responsibility to begin with. If you have the right information and the right tools and a solution, I believe that you should do everything in your power to take care of it. Even if it comes down to changing your nutrition and your lifestyle. So that is a very hard one for me to swallow, because I think I've just been forced into needing to go there so many times that it makes me want other people to experience that and take that opportunity to do right by themselves. And honestly, when you do right by yourselves, you do right to everyone around you, because then you don't become their burden. And I'm sorry if this makes you mad. Maybe you need to hear it. But that's why I became a health coach, because I wanted to support people who do want to take that responsibility and that accountability, and not just wait for somebody to put them in psychiatric care, not wait for somebody to endlessly give them prescriptions and tell them like there's nothing we can do, like we've exhausted all our options. Chances are you haven't. You just haven't explored that alternative medicine side, that holistic medicine side. And then beyond that, there's God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit and the wisdom that comes from heaven about your unique case. So there's a link in this description box, and if you are ready to fix your health, or you don't know what to do next, you've been at the end of your rope for a long time, I want you to fill that form out and take a consultation with me. It would be an honor to help you. In addition, I also have a gut healing program that is self-paced. So this is everything that I did to help heal my gut and the things that are backed by science. And you're going to learn everything you need to know over 6 weeks on how to live a gut healthy lifestyle. So I invite you to take that as well. That's also below. I invite you to like and subscribe so other people can get this video and other mental, physical, and spiritual health tips to help them thrive. I'm I'm so grateful for you. And I will see you soon in another video.